All right, you've gone through all of that work to get your data sets analyzed, you've got them featured, you're ready to go. So, now that you know how to version your data, you might actually take the time to use this to test out different hypotheses. So, this is where you can actually go through and make multiple data sets in an automated fashion because you have these tools available to you. So, with versioning, you're able to do more robust experimenting because you're able to confidently reproduce your experiments. So, let's say that you did go ahead and make maybe three different approaches to featurizing your data, and you want to go ahead and run experiments with all of those different feature sets. So you have your feature sets, they're all versioned, and now you can go forth and do multiple experiments with many different algorithms using a lot of different types of data sets. And this comes up a lot when you're working on a team to develop a machine learning model. So you and your coworkers can do your own data cleaning, your own labeling, you can share data sets, you can have completely different MLOps pipelines for your data handling if you want to, just so that everyone is comfortable with the data they're working with and the features that they want to use for their particular experiments. So when you have data versioning and you have these other MLOps tools that make it easier for you to automate things, you can get a lot more collaboration going on across your team members. With versioning, you can even make new datasets in the middle of your experiments. So maybe you're running an experiment and you see some kind of weird result and you decide to change your dataset a little bit. So again, if you're using a tool like DVC, you probably already have a version of your dataset locally, or you're connected to some kind of remote storage for your data, and you can make those small changes to your dataset on the fly and then just add them to your change history, and that's it. So you're no longer limited to the dataset that you receive from your data team to run your experiments. You can do this stuff yourself just as you make new discoveries and as you prove or disprove different hypotheses you might have had going into this. So you can use MLOps principles and tools like feature tools in DVC to create a pipeline, or at least to create part of a pipeline to automate this whole data versioning process. So when you take these tools and you write different scripts, then you can decide what the triggers are to execute those scripts. So will you version your data every time you do a git commit? Will you run a different feature engineering method based on certain flags in your dataset? You can fine tune all of these things with these tools and start to add more automation to your MLOps pipeline.